What's going on, guys? It's your boy Scrub here, back again with another video. Hope everybody's having a lovely day. I know I am. It's a beautiful April morning, you know. Everybody's out here. The birds are chirping. People are screaming in pain as they are slowly ripped apart, atom by atom, from the Thanos snap. Sorry if that's a spoiler for you guys, but, you know, it's not. And, you know, the Thanos snap was pretty bad. Half the universe died. But in the fray of the battle, when, you know, Captain America was punching him and everybody was punching him, I actually took the Infinity Gauntlet and I have it in my hands, and I've been told firsthand by Thanos that if you don't like the video, I will disintegrate half of you. Now, I don't want anyone to get hurt, but I gotta do what I gotta do, so press the like button or I will have to disintegrate you guys. If you press like, it won't be effective at all. But yeah, on that note, let's get into the video. 3, 2, 1, snap. Today I'm gonna talk about skipping school, alright? I know a lot of you guys are in school, you know, you're really living lavish out there in math class, just the most exciting thing of your life. You got a boner so big you can't stand up in front of the class. Whatever it is you're doing in math class is not really any of my concern. If that is your problem, you're kind of weird. Numbers you shouldn't like that much, alright? It's normal to like numbers, but that much, ooh, you're kind of pushing it a little bit. Regardless, I was never a big fan of school. After my junior and senior year, I actually almost didn't graduate because I skipped so much school. So I have a little bit of experience with this, and someone DM'd me on Instagram the other day and asked me to talk about skipping school. And if you have anything that you want me to talk about, any stories, any topics that you want to hear, DM me on Instagram and I'm definitely going to start looking over there just what we can talk about, you know? Now, by no means am I saying that you should skip school. If you're gonna do this, you gotta think it through logically here. First, you need a good excuse, because the chances of getting caught are actually pretty high. I've been caught quite a few times, and every time, there's only one approach that you can use to get out of trouble for skipping school, okay? It's real simple, it's real obvious, people just don't think it through enough. Look, with anything in life, especially with skipping school, you just have to act confident when you're delivering your excuse for what you're doing and why it's wrong, and you'll usually get out of it. One time, explicitly, I was skipping class and I was in the teacher's lounge because usually during class there's nobody in there because, you know, they're supposed to be teaching. But regardless, that's where I was going to hang out and play Clash of Clans for the hour. This is a while ago, I know I'm pretty old. And a teacher walked in and he asked me what I was doing, and so really quick, without missing a beat, I just said, oh, I'm printing some copies off for my teacher, Mr. Lux. And he said, all right, okay, yeah, seems fair enough. You don't want to come up with a crazy excuse, okay? You're not saving the Pope, you're not doing heart surgery on a mafia member. No, don't aim high. You want to scrape the bottom of the barrel, because when a teacher hears that you're just making copies, no one's going to think, I bet you he's making that up. They're not going to question it because it sounds legit. So if you are going to skip school, have an excuse in your head ready to go, okay? If you're going to the parking lot, you forgot your homework for Miss Swift's English class, or whatever it is, have a specific story that's specific enough to sound legit, but also not too crazy where people start to doubt that you're telling the truth, you know? And like I said, I'm not saying that you guys should skip school. Go to class, pay attention, do your homework, all that stuff. But I'm also not an idiot, and I know kids aren't gonna listen to anything that I say, unless it's about how to get away with skipping class. So regardless, you know, whatever. That's an excuse. That's what you need, okay? Now, some stories of me skipping school, okay? Me skipping school, living lavish. I would usually skip school to go do something dumb, whether that's getting food or just overall not wanting to go to math class or whatever it was. So generally we would leave class, you know, do our thing and come back to school. And this is the tricky part too. There was this lady that would sit outside of this hallway. And for some reason, if you were a delinquent who was always in trouble, she was cool with you. She wouldn't question you. Like if you were, you know, punching kindergartners in the face and then kicking them in the shins for giggles, she'd be like, oh, whatever, I'm not going to question where you just were. But me, who was like captain of the debate team, Nerdy McNerds a lot over here, every time I would come past her, she would ask me for a hall pass, where I was, and everything. So what I did was pretty slick, alright? When I was skipping class, I had an English teacher by the name of Miss Swift. She's a really great lady. Best English teacher I've ever had. And her and I got along really well. And I would ask to go to the bathroom in her class, and she said, yeah, you can write yourself a pass, which was not what teachers were supposed to do. And there was this thick pad of bathroom passes. Probably about 3,000 of them, you know? Anyways, I ended up taking, when she told me to write myself a pass to go to the bathroom, like 100 of these bathroom passes. A whole stack. I told her that she was out and she got new ones. So I had a bunch of hall passes in my in my backpack, which I would fill out whenever I needed to get past this angry security guard who was a sentry unit, okay? Like if I was walking, she'd be like, tall white kid, attack, 6 o'clock, and just come beelining over to me and be like, where's your hall pass? I know you're snitching. I know you're skipping class. The only problem is they weren't signed by a teacher. So I needed to come up with a way to get them all signed by somebody. So I went to my debate coach and I told him that Miss Swift's hands really hurt and that she couldn't fill out her own passes, which sounds dumb. You're like, Ryan, that sounds stupid. But Miss Miss Swift had this condition when it was cold where her hands would swell up and she wasn't able to write very well, and a lot of teachers knew this. And of course, everybody knew I was close with Miss Swift, and Mr. Lux was the other teacher I was close with. So he just assumed it was cool. So he ended up signing all these passes with his name. And so now I had 100 bathroom passes that had another teacher's signature on it, which basically meant they were get out of jail free cards. At any point, I could just bounce like there was no tomorrow. And after this, I'm just gonna give you guys some perspective. I ended up getting these bathroom passes with the signatures about, halfway through my senior year, so towards the end of the second quarter. And I had about 4 absences at the time. And with these passes, I ended up racking up, and this is no joke, 47 absences by the end of the year, which meant I was not in class more than I was in class, alright? And that's pretty embarrassing, but it's true. And this, of course, caused some problems. You see, I thought skipping school was all fun and games. I had bathroom passes. I thought I was gonna get away scot-free. But when the dean's office started to look through and realize that, I was missing more school than I was going to, there was some problems. And this is in my senior year. So I end up getting a letter in the mail sent to my house addressed to my parents saying that I'm not going to graduate high school. And, my parents are understandably upset because nobody knew I was skipping school because I had passes. But I guess I didn't write notes. And when they realized that I was only missing certain periods that I didn't want to go to and they started to put a pattern together, they were pretty quick to realize that I didn't go to school because I had these passes. So what I'm saying is if you're gonna skip school, understand that there's gonna be consequences. But anyways, my parents are understandably pissed because if I don't graduate high school, it makes them look bad and my life won't go anywhere. I ended up dropping out of college a little bit later, but that's another story. Anyways, I have to set up a meeting with the dean's office to try to explain where I've been, what I've been missing. And I don't think they're onto my whole bathroom pass scheme. I don't think they've put 2 and 2 together. And my parents have to come because they want to talk to my parents about my unruly behavior. And I'm not 18 yet at the time. I was like 17. I was turning 18 in like a week and a half. I was really close, but regardless, it was not a very good situation for anyone to be in. And I really thought I was going to get away with it. I thought I was going to have no problems, only because who was going to realize that I had all these passes, And that's when my arch enemy Century security guard lady, who was always stopping me and yelling at me because I was skipping class. I walk in with my parents and Miss Swift, Mr. Lux, and the security lady are sitting there with the dean of my school, and they all look really mad, and I'm like, oh, this is not good. This is really not good. So as I sit down, the dean opens up with, Ryan, we have a couple of questions here. The security guard has noticed that you've been skipping class with a pass every day that is signed by Mr. Lux, but when she described the pass, they're yellow, which comes from the English hallway, and Miss Swift is your English teacher, so we were just wondering if you could explain this anomaly to us. And so I smile, and at this point, I know I'm busted, alright? I know when the game is over. If you're gonna be a risky man, you gotta know when it's time to come clean and admit that you messed up. So I say, look, listen, I pull out the hall passes from my backpack. I only had like 12 left, and I say, this is where I've been. This is what I've been using. I took them from Miss Swift. She had nothing to do with it. I told Mr. Lux that he was going to sign it. I don't want them to get in trouble, because my biggest fear was that my teachers were going to get blamed, because I did care about my teachers. Yeah, I was an idiot and took advantage of the passes, but I didn't want my teachers to get in trouble for a mistake that I had made, because it was my fault. I didn't want anyone else to get blamed for it. I come clean, tell them that I lied, tell them that I did it, and the dean is like, I'm very disappointed in you, blah, 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 blah. But I could tell by my explanation about why I didn't want them to get in trouble that Miss Swift and my debate coach were pretty chillax. They didn't mind as much. They didn't care as much because they knew I was doing the right thing. I was owning it. Regardless, they were still a little bit mad, obviously. They definitely were not too happy with the fact that I had lied to them and gotten him to sign, 100 passes for a teacher that had a condition that made her hands hurt when she was cold. And, took advantage of stealing her bathroom passes. But regardless, my relationship wasn't affected. We were still friends. I still email them sometimes to this day because they're just really cool people. But the security guard lady, oh my lord. She starts going on and on about how I can't be allowed to get away with this and how I should be held back from graduating because it's not fair that kids like me are let off whenever we do something wrong. And I'm like, bitch, you're a security guard. What do you know about education? What do you mean I shouldn't graduate, all right? What do you protect the hot Cheetos in the vending machine? What do you mean I shouldn't be able to graduate? And my parents don't like this lady very much because he's obviously trying to prevent their son from graduating. So obviously the dean calms her down and he's just asking me, how many classes do I miss? What have I missed? All this stuff. And he says, well, of course, this is a weird situation. I never had this happen in all my years of being a dean. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm not going to graduate high school because I messed up and took bathroom passes. And so the dean basically says that he's going to check my grades. And the classes that I had been skipping, I still was passing pretty well. I wasn't failing. Like, I didn't have straight A's, but, I wasn't doing bad. And he, of course, asked my teachers what they thought. And they said, of course, I should be punished punished. However, they didn't think I should be held back from graduating because I had worked hard. So my punishment was I had to stay after with Miss Swift and Mr. Lux, and I had to clean their rooms and just generally be their little slave for a couple weeks after school, which was way better than not graduating. Don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining. The punishment I got was not equal to the crime. I probably should have gotten in more trouble, not been able to walk at graduation, all that stuff. But regardless, you know, this is a situation, we're chilling, living lavish, I'm okay. I ended up graduating on time. Moral of the story is, be careful with how much you're skipping school, because while it might be fun, it's easy to get away with, it will catch up to you if you do it too much, and you don't want to sacrifice your education. Education is important as much as you're going to pretend it's not, and everybody hates the fact that they have to go to school so much, but you do learn important things, and skipping school is not always the best decision. Obviously, it's okay to do it sometimes in moderation. I just got a little bit carried away and almost didn't graduate, but yeah, that's my experiences with skipping school. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, I'd really appreciate you pressing the like button. It helps out the channel a ton. Comment down below, all that good stuff. But on that note, don't get anyone pregnant, and if you do, make sure they're incredibly hot. My name is Scrubby. Follow me on Instagram. I'm desperate for internet clout, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm out. Peace.